Yo, yo, welcome to Trippy Commentaries and part 2 of our WWE 2014 through 2015 preview discussion. Make sure to watch part 1 if you guys managed to skip that one. We talked about the Ultimate Warrior, possible return by CM Punk, Undertaker, of course, yeah, Sting, many of the WWE superstars, but we have a lot to get into in this episode as we work our way to talk about the 2015 WrestleMania. We're already excited for that. I'm RJ, Retro Brett is here.
Hello.
Corey is live in Orlando at the new WWE Performance Center. How's it look over there? Is it nice?
It's nice, man, but if I see one more jabroni walking around with spray tan and baby oil, I think I'm going to be sick.
Oh, I hate that.
That is indecent in anywhere except Miami.
All right. Retro Brett, what are you looking at for this? Of course, we got summer, winter, 2014 here of wrestling. What are you looking at? What's one of the main guys?
All right, well, first things first, let's start off with the most imminent. I'm really, really excited for the reunion of Evolution, Triple H, Batista, and Randy Orton. I think that's the best idea they've had in years, fighting the Shield. What do you think about that, Corey?
You know, I think it makes perfect sense. I kind of had a feeling previous to WrestleMania, once Batista, Randy Orton, and Triple H were all sort of a part of the main event, that might be something that we would see post-WrestleMania, and here we are, surely enough. We've got the Shield, of course, who are super, super hot right now with the crowd. The crowd loves them, man. They're over like Rover.
Yeah.
You know, we got them taking on pretty much the top heels of the company that people hate. Triple H, Randy Orton, of course, and Dave Batista, who people like to, of course, refer to as Boo-Tista.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what Batista can do this year as well. So how do you see that, you know, panning out this year? Do you think the Shield can actually get the you know, the upper edge there on the Evolution?
I do think so, because, I mean, it's been a long time since Evolution has been together, so they're bound to have some chemistry issues.
True.
And we've all seen how the Shield is a real solid team. There really isn't any I in them. It's really a team. They work extremely well together, and I think this is going to be a feud that's going to be going on for a little while.
Probably maybe a while, right?
A good several months. I also heard that there is going to be some people with the Shield and Evolution. Can you tell us more about that, Corey?
Yeah, actually, a rumor that's currently going around that I have read is that we could possibly see at Extreme Rules, the upcoming pay-per-view for this month, we could possibly see the return of the famed War Games 2-ring steel cage match.
No way.
It's basically a 4-on-4. It starts out, this is, of course, for fans who aren't familiar with the old WCW, NWA War Games matches. It starts out two guys in the 2 rings with a cage over it, and there's a coin flip 2 minutes or 3 minutes after that, and one team then has an advantage. It's then 2-on-1 for a certain amount of time, for an interval at 2-3 minutes, and then it evens up to 2-on-2, then 3-on-2, and so on and so forth, until all 8 guys are in the ring, and at that point, somebody has to either submit or surrender, which I guess would be to just quit, flat out say I quit.
Damn.
I think, you know, I think it could be a cool gimmick. I'm not sure that we would necessarily see the traditional 2-ring War Games match, but from, you know, from what I understand, I could see Daniel Bryan joining up with the Shield. And, of course, Kane, who we saw this last week on Raw, he's possibly going back into his old gimmick, getting his mask back.
Yeah, I see that too.
Classic Big Red Monster. I could see Kane teaming up with the, with not, well, I I guess it is still the Authority, but now it's Evolution. Triple H, Randy Orton, and Dave Bautista.
Nice. That'd be a nice team.
Something that Retro Brett sort of touched on about the Shield is how awesome they are as a team. But something that I've seen lately is that the Shield is showing a lot of individuality.
Yeah, they are.
We're starting to see Seth Rollins come through as the high flyer, the acrobat. Of course, Dean Ambrose is sort of a wild man. He has the really unconventional offense, kind of quirky. He's just got to me, the main person that Dean Ambrose reminds me of is Roddy Piper. That's like the best comparison I can make.
That's funny you mentioned that. That's a great comparison.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have Roman Reigns, who is the powerhouse and arguably the most over with the crowd. But, like you said, Brett, they work awesome together as a team. They work well as a unit. But I think that they're starting to show their own individual merits.
Which is a good thing.
We could see at some point, I'm almost certain of it, we could see the Shield split in 2014.
Yeah.
That may be a match we see next year at WrestleMania 31.
I think that's a good possibility. But going back to what you said and what I said about their strong teamwork, now they did have, for about a month or two, they did have some splinter in their midst. They looked like they were going to split up a little bit, but now they're stronger than ever, and WWE isn't or couldn't be more happy about that.
Yeah.
They're better for it.
Yeah, basically I think the whole thing behind that is that they were going to tease turning them heel or splitting, and before they did, they realized how over they were with the crowd, and they said, well, we can't do it yet. Not yet. Let's save it. Let's let them be good guys for a while and get all the money we can out of that. Yeah. And then split them up. So, yeah.
I expect Roman Reigns to turn into one of the WWE superstars here. And you might even see Seth Rollins is starting to get hype, You can see him develop as well.
Except for his hair. I like him a lot.
Yeah. All right, now, before we get into our look possibly at the next WrestleMania, there's one guy we'd be remiss if we don't really delve into, and that's Daniel Bryan. I mean, this guy is the champ now. How long do you see this going, Corey? I mean, can he hold on to it for a while? There's going to be a lot of guys coming for him.
Traditionally in the pro wrestling business, usually it works better to have a bad guy or a heel as the champion and have the good guy or the face as an underdog, much like Daniel Bryan was for the last 8 months, chasing the title. I could see Daniel Bryan holding on to it maybe until, I don't know, SummerSlam. I mean, basically it all depends on how the house show business is doing and how the ratings are. I mean, nothing is certain within the pro wrestling business, and certainly within the world of the World Wrestling Entertainment, as they like to call it, the WWE universe. Nothing's for certain. So really, it all comes down to business. Right now, of course, they're building post WrestleMania. The next big pay-per-view that they're going to be looking towards is SummerSlam in August. So I could definitely see Daniel Bryan holding on to it for a few months, but we might see, as I mentioned in part 1, as a possible WrestleMania 31 match also, we could see Daniel Bryan taking on perhaps Brock Lesnar at maybe SummerSlam for the belt.
Yeah, man, we mentioned that. That would be a hell of a battle right there. That would really be two planets colliding, two different styles, and that would be a hell of a match.
I like that, though. I like him holding on to it till SummerSlam, which, like you said, is the next big pay-per-view. But I'll go one further and say he'll regain it at the Royal Rumble and then fight at WrestleMania next year. Daniel Bryan, that is.
Certainly a pretty good prediction.
It is.
Anything to throw out there, Corey, with this new Diva champion we got here, Paige, very young girl here. Anything you can say about her? Are you excited?
Yeah, well, number one, I mean, she's certainly a beautiful young lady.
Smoking hot.
She comes from from, of course, Great Britain, England. She is a second generation, I believe, wrestler. Her mother and father are both wrestlers in England. They were never really huge, per se, as far as stardom or fame that I'm aware of. But, it's definitely in her blood. It's something that she's done her whole life.
She's been doing it
and,
since she was 13.
To me, that's great news for the Divas division.
Yeah, it is.
Which, I mean, they seem to try to be kind of improving on that a little bit. It's not just basically at one point it was all just a big TNA show. And I don't mean the company, the other wrestling company either.
Yeah.
You would see Divas pillow fights. And
Braun panties match.
They should bring that back.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, there's nothing wrong with seeing beautiful women in their underwear or otherwise scantily clad, but personally, I don't like my sex and violence to mix. It's kind of like vodka and milk. Some people might like White Russians, but not me. No thanks.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, to me, it's refreshing to see somebody in the Divas division who has the pro wrestling business in their blood, who has those legit credentials, her family's involved, and hopefully with Paige coming up recently, winning the Divas Championship, and of course Emma, who's another recent call-up from NXT. She's sort of goofy, whatever, her little dance and gimmick, it's sort of stupid, but
Yeah.
oh well. I mean, time will tell if that gets over. It was certainly over in NXT, but that's a different story. But basically we're seeing improvements all around. We got a lot of guys being called up, of course. Two guys that we haven't touched on yet, that they've recently debuted promos on Raw for are Adam Rose, who apparently is going to have a party guy kind of gimmick. I don't know.
The party bus.
The video package that they showed for him was him on a party bus with a bunch of people.
The
And
Exotic
there was
Express.
a guy in a bunny suit, and I don't know. It seemed kind of lame, whatever.
You feeling David Rose, Retro Brett?
The soon-to-debut Adam Rose, Retro Brett.
Adam Rose. Adam Rose, what do you think about Adam Rose, Retro?
I think he'll take a long time to get popular. I mean, he seems a little small, and he's small in stature and that, but I think it'll take a little while to get the crowd interested in him. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just my thinking.
And then, of course, guys, we also have the second guy that we recently saw. They had a soon-to-debut video package on Raw for, which, of course, he's been in WWE on the main roster before, is Bo Dallas, who is actually the brother of one Bray Wyatt. I could see, not Bray Wyatt, Bo Dallas, of course, coming up. He has the whole Bo Leave gimmick, which is kind of stupid, but it might work as a cocky, confident heel or bad guy. What are your thoughts as far as Bo Dallas, Retro Brett?
Well, like you said, he's been here before. He knows what to expect on the big stage. I don't think he'll take nearly as long as Adam to get over with the crowd. I think being Bray Wyatt's brother, he's gonna have some big success here pretty soon, pretty immediately.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, if Bray Wyatt is blowing up as much as he is, I think you'll see his bro there probably following his footsteps. I've heard a lot of hype about him, and we'll see how it goes for sure.
And I also wanted to ask you something about what you said about White Russian. Speaking of White Russians, Lana and Alexander Rusev.
Oh, wow! You must have went to the school for segues, because that was flawless. Yeah, we've got the Bulgarian powerhouse Alexander Rusev with the ravishing Russian Lana, who is another quite a sight to behold, if I don't say so myself.
She's annoying, but she's hot.
She's a little bit annoying, but, as long as she's talking in Russian or Bulgarian, whatever it is, it's
Yes.
I digress. Basically, Rusev, I mean, he just came out and squashed people left and right. They're really building him up to be a big powerhouse. You know, I could see him maybe taking on Daniel Bryan and being a contender. I mean, if they did it right and if they continue this build of just making him this unstoppable monster, eventually that's the only way, I mean, that's the only place he can go. You know, he could capture the Intercontinental title or the U.S. title or something like that along the way. But, you know, if it were me, I would say keep building this guy up, much like they did Ryback. Just have him go out there and destroy people week after week and build up eventually and have him start beating some bigger names on pay-per-views. And then eventually he makes the big challenge for Daniel Bryan. You know, that could, if they did it right, I could see Daniel Bryan versus Alexander Rusev at some point this year as being a draw of the match.
I could see that.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right, so to finish up in our preview of wrestling for the rest of this year and coming up into 2015, we have WrestleMania coming. Corey, what can you tell us about what you expect to see when that big event comes?
You know, I think by the time WrestleMania 31, the build-up, of course it starts in January, right around the time of the Royal Rumble, I think by that time we're going to see a lot of guys who are young get pushed up to that main event level. That's certainly what WWE wants to do right now, is ensure that the future of the business, you know, once all guys like Triple H and The Undertaker and John Cena and Randy Orton, guys that are more established, once they're gone, you know, somebody's got to take their spot. So I think that with guys like Cesaro, Bray Wyatt, Big E, Roman Reigns, The Shield, Bad News Barrett is another guy who I can see getting pushed up to that main event level.
Bad News Barrett.
Lately,
like
the crowd's sort of been into him a little bit.
Yeah.
I got some bad news.
Go ahead.
I said, I'm afraid I have some bad news. That was totally not right.
Yes.
You know,
Bad News Barrett. So what would you like to see in this WrestleMania? Of course, it's not going to be coming up anytime soon, but we could still look ahead to it.
It's going to come up sooner than you think.
Yeah, it's not early, never too early to talk about WrestleMania.
But actually, my prediction is either Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar, or they're going to find some way. I think they're going to work it out with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk. That'll be a huge match. They're both about the same physical stature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like the thinking of Sting versus Undertaker, but we all know that may or may not happen. Undertaker's future is up in the air, so.
Yeah.
And obviously Bray Wyatt's going to be huge in the company for many years to come.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
we don't know what's going to happen with him.
There's two guys I'm really looking at to elevate and possibly make a championship run this year, or at least going into next year's WrestleMania. Number one, no doubt, is Bray Wyatt. I mean, I think this guy not only will get a chance, but he deserves a chance, and I really like his style. Number two is Cesaro. I mean, I think this guy has the strength and the fighting ability to have what it takes to climb the ranks. I mean, what do you think, Corey? Do you think there's any chance that by this next WrestleMania we could see him elevate to that kind of level?
Yeah, well, you know, I definitely think that's, you know, he's on the cusp right now.
Yeah.
He had a great response at WrestleMania, and then the night after Raw, they turned him into the next Paul Heyman guy, or client, Paul Heyman, his managerial services. So I could see that for the next year or so, they're going to build up that working relationship, and maybe at WrestleMania 31, they will finally pull the trigger and turn Cesaro into a fan favorite, and that could launch us all the way to WrestleMania 32 and 33, and all the way up to WrestleMania 375. Who knows?
Yep, we're looking at Paul Heyman right now. We'll see what he has in store for the WWE this year, man. He is definitely a man of interest as of right now. What's he going to be up to? Thank you guys so much for joining us here. If you have any input, make sure you drop your comment. Make yourself be heard. Let us know what you think's going to happen. And In the next episode, we'll be getting together for another discussion here about the current state of WWE. We have some big-time pay-per-views coming up as well we need to get into, so make sure you guys share your opinion. We definitely would love to give you a shout-out and you know, let the world know what you guys think is going to happen, as well as what we think as well. So, I'm RJ for Retro Brett.
Hey.
And Corey over there in Orlando, man. What are you going to do for the rest of the day, C-Dub?
Go to Disney World?
I don't know, man, but if y'all aren't down with that, I got 2 words for you. Trippy Commentaries.
Yes. And if you're not down with that, then you can suck it. So, thank you guys again for watching. We really appreciate if you do want to go ahead and subscribe and contact us. We really love your feedback. So make sure you talk to us, and we'll be bringing you a new episode very soon. So enjoy the wrestling, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Peace out, guys.
Yeah.